Well, we are back, everybody, with another great edition of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. Thank you for joining us on whatever platform you're joining us on. And we've got a terrific show for you today. We have a gentleman back who's been one of my favorite guests ever since we had him back a long time ago. He's a great guy. He's a great player. He's a great teacher. He's got a lot going for him. He's got a beautiful family, and you're really going to enjoy this interview. Real quickly, the weather here in Las Vegas, I mean, it's freezing. Last week, we were at 112, 115. It's freezing now. It's down to the mid-90s, if you call that cold. But we've got some monsoonal moisture, so you go outside and you start to sweating in the whole deal. Cloud cover, but, you know, that's what it is here. But it's been hot. How hot? Hotter than Sofia Vergara in a string bikini or something. That's how hot it's been. But before we bring our guest on, I tell you a little bit about him. Something of note I want you to pay attention to. Mark your calendars. Friday, August the 19th, out at Angel Park. They have an event there called the Heroes Charity Golf Tournament. And this is, get this is raising money for the children of Gold Star families, of all of the fallen heroes. The Las Vegas chapter is doing this for the first time. They do this in other parts of the country. Very, very successful. So go to childrenoffallenheroes.org or call Angel Park. We love to see you out there. I've been very pleased that I'm going to MC the event for him, and I so am looking forward to it and meeting a bunch of great people. So please check that out for me. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about our guest that's coming on. Bobby Clampett just had a spectacular collegiate career while he was attending Brigham Young University. From 1978 to 1990, Bobby was a three-time All-American and two-time College Golfer of the Year at BYU. Some of his amateur titles include the Porter Cup, the Sunahana Amateur, and this is a big deal, the Western Amateur, also the 78 and 1980 California State Amateur. Bobby turned professional in 1990. After the U.S. Open, he played on the PGA Tour from 80 to 95, where he won the 1982 Southern Open. Y'all, Bobby has one win as well on the Japanese Golf Tour. Bobby has been an on-course reporter for CBS Sports and a lead analyst, if you remember, for Turner Sports from 96 to 2007. He is an author. He is a course designer and founder and CEO of Impact Zone Golf. So with all that being said, let's welcome my good friend Bobby Clampett. How are you, my friend? Thank you for taking time out, and you look like you're kicking back in the backyard.
Exactly it. You know, I'm waiting for Elon Musk Starlink to get put into my house so I have good internet, because here in literally the sticks of California where we live this part of the year, we don't get very good internet service. So
Yeah.
the Starlink actually arrived yesterday, and I
Did
actually
it?
just met with the technical experts. So next time, you're not going to see me having to hold a cell phone in the backyard in order to get self service. I'll have good internet, so
No,
it'll be
that's
pretty
great.
exciting.
No, and the
Yeah.
background behind you is absolutely wonderful. Let me start off and ask you this. Let me give you a couple of names, Bobby. George Baer, Al Geiberger, Lauren Roberts, John Cook, Hale Irwin, Dr. Gill, and so many other players. Those were the good old days, weren't they, Bobby?
Oh my gosh. Well, we could write a book on those names alone. You know, I mean, I was in a playoff with George Baer and Al Geiberger when I was 18 in the Spalding Invitational right here in Monterey, California.
Yeah.
And I was still an amateur. I was just a sophomore in college. And gosh, and Lauren and I have been really good friends for a long time. And yeah, I mean, all good guys for sure.
Yeah, really good guys. It's a little bit different today on tour, and we'll talk about that. But I know when you were out.
Are you speaking of LIV, Dennis? Because I know
Well,
you're
we're
going to
we're
talk
going to
to me. You're
talk
going to
about
ask me
that. Don't get ahead of me. We're going to talk about that. Uh, I know that when you got out on tour, Bobby, or started learning how to play golf seriously, there weren't nearly as many swing philosophies being taught as there is today. But how did you decide to advocate and learn the principles of the golfing machine? What brought that to you?
Well, I learned the principles of the golfing machine back when Ben Doyle taught it to me when I was 13 years old. And then when I got out on tour, I had my swing. I finished 14th and 17th the first 2 years on the PGA Tour after winning the Haskins Trophy my last 2 years at college at BYU. And I was running a little trouble with my game, and I went to seek the advice of the so-called best teachers of the game,
Mm-hmm.
four of them to be exact. And all four of them wanted to completely change my swing. They had random comments about my swing had more moving parts than an erector set, or I needed to forget about anything I'd ever learned about the game and start over. And these are the so-called best coaches. And sadly, my confidence level after seeing three of them was at such a low point. I figured, well, might as well give it a shot. And I went through the process of trying to completely redo my golf swing, which the sad thing is I never even cracked the top 80 ever again on the PGA Tour when I was consistently in the top 20. So
Mm-hmm.
the lesson I learned there was a huge lesson, and it's been a passion of mine to keep, especially young talented players from following that same path. And as I got older and studied the game more and got hired by CBS Sports and worked as an analyst there for 30 years, and they invented the BizHub Swing Vision camera, which I got very attached to, I started to realize that the best players in the game have such varied styles of swing. And my
Yeah.
gosh, even today, you look at the Matt Wolfs and the Bryson DeChambeaus, and back in my day, it was the Jim Furyk's and the Lee Trevinos
Mm-hmm.
that had and Arnold Palmer's that had such funky swings, but they were great players.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it led me down this whole study with the BizHub Swing Vision of impact, and that they all have virtually the same impact. And when you really start to break down what does that mean, what are all the different aspects of impact,
Yeah.
and how do they achieve it, they actually all achieve it the same way. They all create it the same way, but with a very different style. So they're in different positions. And it's what most people think is the style that helps them create the great impact. It's not. It has nothing to do with their style of swing. And so that's what led me to write the Impact Zone, and then now launch impact-based teaching,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is just going fantastically. Having so much fun with it.
Oh, that's good, and we're gonna talk about that. What is? I know you knew Ben Doyle very well. I had the honor of spending some time with him as well
Right.
when I was up in your area. What was a really memorable thing about Ben, Bobby, in your mind? Because you spent a lot of time with him.
Well, I spent a lot of time with Ben. I mean, a ton of time, and he, he meant the world to me. Uh, Ben was very patient, very kind, and very passionate about teaching golf. And I think it's that passion. I was always a reluctant teacher. I never wanted to get into teaching. And then when I realized I had something to say in a process of analyzing people's golf games through their impact and how to prioritize what they need to work on first, and developed all that today is known as impact-based teaching, that this passion that really was seated in Ben Doyle, and Lee Martin too, both of them,
Mm-hmm.
really came to fruition. But nobody does it on their own, and I've been really blessed to have had mentors like Ben Doyle and Lee Martin in my
Yeah.
life, especially as a kid, that paved the way for me to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me ask you this before we are going to take a short break. Most golfers know, maybe not most golfers, but in order to maximize the distance you have, in order to hit the ball to your maximum distance, I don't think you'll argue with this, you've got to hit the ball in the middle of the face. How does the proper impact help this, or does it?
Well, that is one of the aspects of proper impact, is hitting it in the middle of the club face. And that's a big thing. And developing things in your swing for the purpose of hitting it in the middle of club face. But there are a lot more aspects of impact. There's where the bottom of the swing arc occurs, there's the path of the swing, and there's the angle of the club face and club head speed. So those are the 5 aspects of impact and impact-based teaching. And they're all 5 important. They have relationships to one another. And once you establish them, you establish what we call good impact dynamics. Then it's about consistency.
Right.
And consistency has a lot to do with hitting the ball in the middle of the club face.
Yeah.
And that's built on a lot of repetition and grooving and developing that Bernhard Langer-like mechanical, repeatable swing. And nobody repeats it better than Bernhard.
Yeah, that's very true. He's a lot of fun to watch, and we're going to talk about impact teaching in just a minute. All right, Bobby, hang in there for me. We're going to break away. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to kick it off with JT on the tee. We'll be back right after this with more from Bobby Clampett.
Welcome to Tea Time Fitness with Janice. Hi, I'm Janice Thornton with JT Fitness and Golf, and let's get into some stretches that you can do on the driving range. So grab your driver and let's get started. First stretch, I want you to take your driver, you're going to put it in front of you, and this is a great stretch for your back. You just want to hinge over, lean forward, and feel a great stretch in your lats. I just want you to gently rock back and forth with that driver. Your goal is not to bend your driver as far as you can. It's just that you want to use it as a prop. Allow yourself to go back and forth and gently side to side. So definitely do this stretch to get your lats warmed up. Take your game to the next level. Join the JT Fitness and Golf 90-day golf fitness program. Go to jtfitnessandgolf.com for more details.
Are you an E or a C?
Both have Ridgeback.
These are loaded with tech.
Which one are you gaming? Definitely E for me.
It's just so forgiving.
I'm definitely an E. C is for Cheka. What else?
C is for kill it.
C is me. Low spinning bombs.
So, are you an E or a C?
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to more of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, having a great conversation with my buddy, really interesting guy, knows so much about the golf swing and the game, Bobby Clampett. Bobby, you mentioned it before, you wrote a very popular book co-authored with Andy Brummer called The Impact Zone, Mastering Golf's Moment of Truth. if somebody were to read that book, and I highly suggest, I'm sure it's still available, and you could tell us how viewers can get it. What's a reader going to come away with after they read that book, Bobby?
Well, that was the first book. I've actually published 8 books now, if you can believe that, and 3 of them are readily available on Amazon. It's the best way to pick any of them up. Impact Zone, then the companion guide to our digital academy is another book, and the Aspects of Impact is a book I wrote last summer. But the Impact Zone itself really established the foundation for what is known today as impact-based teaching. It introduced the concept of the 5 dynamics and being able to assess one's gain through the 5 dynamics and how they work together and how to make them happen. That's really the emphasis of the Impact Zone. Andy and I were been longtime friends, and he had been asking me for about 10 years to write a book with him. And finally, one day, this was in 2005, I called him up and I said, I was teaching my then 10-year-old son, or 8-year-old son, and no, he was a little older than that. This was 2003, actually. And I said, I think I got a book that I want to write with you. And I took him through this whole idea of being able to analyze your impact and working on improving your impact and what is proper impact and all the different things about it, and then the 5 dynamics to create it. And so he latched onto it as well, and we got busy. It took us 2 years to write that first book.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, Dennis, I love studying. I love figuring things out.
Yeah.
And I have learned so much as a result of, I played the Champions Tour up until 8 years ago, and I retired to teach full time. So the last 8 years, I've been doing nothing but teaching. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. And I've learned so much. And I love technology, right? So now I wish I'd had all this stuff when I was playing, because the technology is so wonderful from the aspect of it's objective. It's actual data that we can analyze and see and study. And if we want to change something, we can actually be objective in the way we review it and see, is it helping or not helping?
Right.
And that's been the real beauty behind it. And with the Swing Catalyst motion pressure plate that we have, with the TrackMans and the Foresight quads that we use, to all the cameras and computers, it's truly awesome. And figuring it all out, and now training teachers, which I'm proud to say, you don't know this, but we actually have the strongest instructor training program in the world now. And so we've got 7 different levels of training with the PGA. The last 3 are under review right now.
Awesome.
So it's really exciting. Nobody's really quite done it this way before. Some of the other well-known teachers, they had certifications, but it wasn't to this degree. It was a little bit more subjective than objective, like ours are. And a lot of ours we can actually do online.
That is awesome. Are you going to have anybody out in Las Vegas, Bobby?
Well, eventually. I mean, I'm not afraid to throw it out there. I really want to help improve teaching worldwide, and I firmly believe that impact-based teaching is a much better way of teaching than any style-based teaching, because we accept all styles. If you want to be stack and tilt, 1 plane, 2 plane, square to square swing, a swing, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. If it makes your impact better, that's what you need to do. And 1 swing doesn't fit all, but 1 impact does.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Do you think the average player, the average weekend amateur, if you walked up to them and asked them, do you get proper impact? Do you really know what impact is, what it feels like, this and that? What do you think they would tell you, Bobby?
Well, they most amateurs judge impact by 1 aspect of impact, and that is if they hit it in the middle of the club face.
Right.
As long as they hit it in the middle of the club face and it goes relatively straight, they're really happy. Of course, most middle of the club face hits go straighter because there's no gear effect issue. So, and that's the sole way that they judge shots. When you start asking them things about where's your swing bottom, they kind of look at you with big days in their eyes. And then when you look at, well, how did your path and face match up on that one? They are like, I'm not really sure. And so, there's a lot to it. Kind of a funny story, Dennis. So, we have this digital academy that we make for sale, which is really everything that I have done on a video format,
Right.
including all 240 of my Clampett's Corners answers to my students' questions and all the DVDs. And then the companion guide book goes along with it. And I had one guy, we had a money back guarantee at one point on it. And one particular fellow said, yeah, I want my money back. So I called him up and I said, so I understand you want your money back. I'm sorry. I like to make calls to the people that want their money back because I want to know how can we improve the system. And he said, yeah, I got your DVDs and it didn't improve my game. And I go, well, I'm sorry it didn't improve your game. Can you elaborate a little bit more? I said, he said, yeah, I got your 4-inch in front swing bottom and it didn't improve my game. I go, okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you got one of the dynamics and one of the aspects of impact down. That's great. I said, can I ask you more questions? He said, yeah. I said, do you happen to pull your short irons and slice your driver? Yeah, how'd you know? And I said, there's a relationship between your swing path, dynamic number 5, and your swing bottom. I said, you artificially moved your swing bottom further forward at the detriment of your swing path. And so your swing path's too out to in, and you have to learn to marry the two. The dynamics 2 and dynamics 5 work together, hand in hand. And the more rearward the more into out your path gets, the more rearward your swing bottom gets, unless you understand how to truly move it forward. Huh? Yeah, but I got your 4-inch in front swing bottom. I'm like, well, that's great. So, the average amateur is kind of funny to talk to.
Yeah.
To most.
Yeah.
Because they're all experts. Right?
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I know that's real. Let me ask you this before we take our next short break, Bobby. In your expert opinion, what are one or two of the biggest misnomers about the golf swing that amateurs have, and briefly explain why?
There's a lot of them. The first thing is a lot of them think if they change their swing, they're going to play better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily true. Probably the biggest misnomers, there's probably two of them. One is you hear the average golfer, and I've played thousands of pro-ams, right? I played 520 PGA Tour events in my career, and most of them have been with a pro-am or two, and then sometimes on the Champions Tour, I've had to play 4 pro-ams in a week. So I played a lot of pro-ams. And it's really interesting to me to listen to the comments of when some of the amateurs hit a bad shot. You lucked up on that one. Keep your head down, damn it. That's a real common one.
Yeah.
And if you were to analyze their swing, if somebody could have recorded their swing, they would have seen that their head didn't do anything differently than the other swings. And the other one is to keep your eye on the ball. That is, there's so much over-focus on the ball, which just sets up a whole precedent of being over-focused on performance instead of being process-oriented.
Right.
And,
good point.
And that becomes a whole mental exercise as well as a physical exercise to try to reduce.
Yeah, no, that's very, very astute. All right, stay with us. We're going to break again and take a short one. We'll be back with more of our special guest, Mr. Bobby Clampett. Back right after this.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
We all know that just about everything today is getting more expensive, and golf is no exception. Well, I'm here to tell you about one golf company that is designed to save you money. That's right, I said save money. Welcome to BreakfastBalls.golf, a company that sells the best used golf balls in like new condition at a fraction of the price you'd pay anywhere else. BreakfastBalls.golf carries all the popular brands of balls, from Pro Vs to Callaway to TaylorMade to Top Flight and many, many more. They even will ship you colored golf balls if that's your choice. They offer a great membership program as well, where members receive free shipping all of the time, plus great discounts. Save money and time. Go to breakfastballs.golf and check them out. So why not give yourself a breakfast ball on every tee, not just the first? Go to breakfastballs.golf and save money.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
We are back with Bobby Clampett on the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. Bobby, let me throw out a few names for you. Lefty, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, Brooks Koepka, Sergio, my buddy Jerry Foltz, Gary McCord, maybe Charles Barkley, David Faraday. The Saudi Tour is happening, my friend. What's your thoughts? And it's only going to get bigger. I've been talking about this for weeks, and I do believe you're going to see more and more tour players leaving, going over there. It's all about the bucks, baby.
I've got a lot of thoughts about it. First of all, you named two names, or especially Gary McCord. I didn't know he came onto the broadcast team with David and Jerry, so that's interesting. So my thoughts about it. I haven't even aired my thoughts about it, to be honest with you, Dennis. And first of all, I don't think it's a sustainable business model, that they're never going to be able to generate the kind of dollars to keep this tour alive, paying the players what they're paying them. And so how long is it going to last? And then when it fails, what are some of these players? The guys that are at the end of their careers, I kind of get it.
Right.
But
right.
Some of the younger guys, like Bryson, I'm like astonished that Bryson would jump ship at his age. He's got his whole career in front of him. And I don't see the LIV Tour earning world ranking points. And if they're not earning world ranking points, how are they going to get into the bigger World Tour events and major championships unless they're already exempt, which that's going to run out, especially for the U.S. Open and the British Open and the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
So and then if it's not a sustainable business model, it's gonna fail at some point. And then what's going to happen to all these players once they've defected off the tour? They've lost all their membership status. It's like me when I changed careers from a PGA Tour player to a golf broadcaster. I lost my status when I tried to go back on the Champions Tour, I didn't have hardly anything. I was exempt into the finals of Q School based on having been a past winner, but that was about it. And were guys that were continually playing. They were up on the money list. They got a 2-year exemption, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel in a way like guys like Mickelson have almost like thrown their career away with what he's doing, and all the companies that have dropped him as a result of this.
Yeah.
And does he really need the money? Come on. I mean, the guy's made so much money. And I wouldn't believe I keep hearing people talking about, well, it's his gambling debts. And I'm like, there's no way he's got that much gambling debt that he needed a quick $200 million. There's no way.
I like when you say a quick $200 million. I like that. Well, I agree and I disagree with you respectfully, Bobby, in a couple things. You know, the people that are behind the Saudi tour have just infinite amounts of money. Number one, they could keep it going, but at some point, you're right. You've got to know, is this really smart? Should we cut our losses or keep feeding this thing where we're not making any money? Secondly, I do believe that they are going to get some network coverage, whether it be from ESPN or something like that. Who knows? Maybe one of the the big affiliates might want to pick them up. And thirdly, I think that all of the players will be welcomed with open arms back into the majors. Okay, and I think eventually if more players go, it's going to start hurting the sponsorship and start hurting the attendance of events on the PGA Tour. What do you say?
I agree in parts of that. It's interesting. Of course, the Masters isn't going to come right out and say why Phil Mickelson didn't. They say it was his choice to not play.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that, to be honest with you. The other three majors are open events, especially the British Open and the U.S. Open, and I think they'll always welcome LIV players as long as they qualify.
Yeah.
But a lot of the qualifications is based on world rankings. So if they're not going to be earning world ranking points, then how are they going to qualify for these majors?
Yeah.
That's one issue. There's a lot of money that the LIV is bringing in. Current cost of oil is a big part of the surplus of cash that they have right now.
Oh yeah.
What happens when gas goes from $100 a barrel back down to $12 a barrel where it was? And then what happens? So how long is this going to last? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's something that nobody knows, and they're just going to have to play it out and see what they come up with, and see what Greg Norman's going to do to attract more people, and it's going to be very interesting. Bobby, do you think that the American women will ever again dominate on the LPGA Tour? Because I don't think they will.
Well, it sure doesn't look it. The past 15 years has been mind-blowing. For sure. And I think it stems from, it's a cultural thing for one. The dedication of a lot of the international players on the LPGA Tour, the dedication to the game is really phenomenal. I mean, the way they train,
totally.
The support that they've had as juniors, a lot of the countries now have these almost schools for the top athletes, and they come there just to train. Now, we don't have that in the U.S. We have the universities, and that's a big part of it. And I think there's some great universities with great golf programs that really help.
Yeah.
But before the university is where we need to get these kids. And we don't have that in the U.S. There's been talk about it. through First Tee or maybe some other organizations to do something and to take the elite players and train them. But it's kind of sad in a way to think that the United States, with all it offers, lacks in that department.
Yeah.
And now here we have the LPGA Tour being dominated by international players because of their player development programs that they have in those countries
Right.
are far superior to ours.
Yeah, that is kind of a shame, and they've just got to catch up. Before I let you go, tell us a little bit about one of your daughters. You have a great family. Your wife, Mariana, is president of your company, and I hope you pay her very well for doing that.
Not enough.
But you have a daughter that's in the entertainment business. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Caitlin Clampett. You can pick up all her music on Spotify, Apple Music. She's just released 2 new songs in the last 2 months. She's really talented, super talented. She was a finalist on American Idol, and then she went and has traveled the tour with other artists over the years, and now has decided to launch her career of her own. She was actually featured on Entertainment Tonight last week.
Awesome.
And pick her up. She's got a lot more musical talent than I do.
Yeah. When you going back to Naples? How long are you going to be in California?
Well, I just got back from Naples. In
Okay.
fact, I flew over your lovely city and saw that monsoonal weather I had to weave my way through in my little airplane.
Yeah.
But I'm actually here. This is my time of the year in California. I teach out at Poppy Hills in Pebble Beach.
Wonderful.
So students can come grab me here, and I'll be back in Naples in October for the whole season. Back in Florida for sure.
If somebody wanted to get information about one of your schools, when they are, where they are, that type of thing, what do they have to do, Bobby?
Yeah. Well, go to impactzonegolf.com. That's probably the easiest thing to do. There we just released our fall and winter and early spring schedule for all our golf schools. That's a great entrance point to come and get a 2-day crash course, very intensive crash course, full with assessments and post-assessments.
Right.
And it really takes you through every aspect of the game. The other thing to do is to get a new student assessment with us. And our number 239-236-5536. That's our headquarter number. Just call there. Schedule an assessment with me or one of my academy trained instructors in Naples. We have 2 academies in Naples, one in Naples, one in Fort Myers, Florida. So that's our headquarters. That's where all our trained instructors are. And then I teach out here in Pebble Beach in the summertime.
Yeah, nice job. If you could get it, let me tell you, that's absolutely awesome. Am I going to see you at hopefully at the PGA show in Orlando?
Possibly, yeah. Hopefully we're going to have a big show this year, right?
Yeah, we are. Well, they just were out here last month for the merchandise and fashion show, and talking to Sherry, she said, yeah, all the equipment companies are coming back. They're filling up real quick. They're happy about it. I go every year, as you know. I'm hoping I can meet up with you, that you will go, and it would be awesome.
Well, let's just plan on it. I was planning on it once the show comes back into full swing. It's been a rough 3 years of COVID.
Yes, it has.
PGA show.
Yeah, but they said they're good to go. So, but of course we'll talk to each other before then. Anyway, Bobby, thank you so much for coming on the show. Always great to have you on. Wish you the best of luck, you and your family. Great information, and we'll have you back sooner than later, my friend.
Always look forward to it, my buddy. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Bobby Clampett, everybody, great guy, and always does a terrific show. All right, stay with us. We're going to step away, take another short break, come back, and we will close up the show. Hey, golfers. I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at EncoreGolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to EncoreGolf.com and see for yourself. Your scorers will love you for it. That's ONCORE Golf.com. If you're an avid golfer like I am, how great would it be living on a golf course? It's fantastic, but you're probably thinking golf course property is just too expensive. Well, I'm here to tell you that the folks at RWM Home Loans here in Las Vegas can make it happen. RWM Home Loans in Las Vegas will access a wide variety of ways to customize a loan to help you get into that golf course property or anywhere else for that matter. They offer first-time home buyer programs, jumbo loans up to $5 million, and even reverse mortgages. So do yourself a favor and call Casey Dzari right here in Las Vegas at 702-888-2251. Get started on that new home or property. That's 702-888-2251, or just go to rwmhomeloans.com. If you are seriously thinking about moving to Southern Nevada from out of state or thinking about selling your home here in Las Vegas, then this is the program for you. I'm Dennis Silvers alongside my great co-host, Tony Rose Lopez, realtor from RE/MAX Unlimited.
Our weekly show, Southern Nevada Living, is a live video podcast that will keep you up to date on the latest real estate data from mortgage lenders, banks, and even builders.
Each show will have live interviews with experts in the field of real estate, from lenders, home inspectors, decorators, and even landscape designers. Everyone and anyone to help make your next sale or purchase an easy one.
And to top it off, every show will feature a home on the market with a tour given by the listing agent, which may be just what you and your family are looking for.
So don't forget to watch Southern Nevada Living each week, Wednesdays at noon.
Southern Nevada Living is brought to you by 9 Doors Down.
Hope you enjoyed that promo. Really looking forward to working with Tony Rose. She's a great gal, and that's going to start in about a week or so, Wednesdays at noon. So please check that out. Also, I was remiss in not mentioning for breakfastballs.golf, if you enter the promo code GOLF6969, you're going to get 15% off your order, so please check that out. All right, we going to wrap that up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I've been your host, Dennis Silvers. Thank you for watching, and we're going to be back same place, same time next week. So long, everybody.